And welcome everybody to episode 26 of Comic Confidential, the weekly podcast where we bring you the week's comic-related news, views, and reviews. I'm your host and captain, Troy. With me as always is my second-in-command / science officer, Cade.
Good afternoon, sir.
And rejoining us on our merry podcasting voyage is our chief communications officer, fluent in Klingon and Wookiee, Amy.
Hello, Captain.
Oh, you should have done a Wookiee intro.
Do a Wookiee
I'm not
noise.
good at Wookiee. We didn't discuss this.
Well, okay, so obviously not fluent in Wookiee.
I know
then.
a few phrases.
I know
I
how
can
to
read it.
Yeah, I can order off a menu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's about it.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, so I think we should probably just get right into it, and let's talk about our winner of our competition, which is a thing that we did this 1 week.
Yeah, we did do that one thing
This
this
one
one week.
This one time. So we had a competition running. If you didn't know, shame on you. But it was basically we had a Hush Batman graphic novel up for grabs, courtesy of Kasplat Comics and Collectibles.
Fancy.
There was also a Darth Vader Funko Pop.
That's as funky as it gets.
Yeah, it is. And there was also, we're going to throw in some sweet Comic Confidential merchandise for you. And all you had to do was retweet our pinned tweet and give us a follow. And some of you did, and that's really good.
Yes.
So, Cade.
What we did with all those retweets, we put them into an Excel document, and all you lovely people, you got a number.
Yes.
So we're going to do a random number generator from random.org.
Oh, is that a thing?
That's the thing.
a
So
real
Not
place.
affiliated with the show.
No. All right, here we go. It's generating. All right. The winning number is number 31.
31.
Number 31.
Who's that, Troy?
Number 31, just let me do my little calculations here. Number 31 is Blake at Blatest24.
Woo.
Woo!
Yeah, you go, buddy.
You go, Blake.
You go,
you have
Glen
won.
Coco.
Awesome.
Yeah, so congratulations, man. You won all that stuff, all that swag, as
that
you kids are
sweet
probably calling
stuff.
it. And what we'll do is we will DM you. We'll DM you hard.
The hardest DM you'll ever get in your inbox.
Yeah, so we'll
In your
DM
box.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we'll
Yeah,
go.
That
with
was the joke.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So we'll send you a DM after the episode drops, and we'll get some deets off you, and we'll send that off, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And on the story of Twitter,
Well, just before we go, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody who did actually enter. That was really good. It was very much appreciated.
yeah, there was
And
a lot.
I'm sorry that you all couldn't win a
We
prize.
didn't have enough.
Yeah, we're not that flash yet.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Twitter.
Twitter, we got some questions on the Twitter sphere. Do you want me to
The Twitter sphere.
I like it.
start off with it?
Yes.
Yes, Mark at Ultra Fanboy. With Rogue One and Han Solo coming up, would you rather a standalone Boba Fett movie or an Obi-Wan movie?
Who wants to take this first?
Can I start off?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, I want a Boba Fett movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasons?
Because he's the most feared bounty hunter in Star Wars world.
Okay.
Why not get a little bit of a backstory about him?
Yeah.
That's true. I guess we know quite a bit about Obi-Wan.
Well, yeah, that's true. For me, I would also say Boba Fett, but I have some stipulations, and those stipulations are that they basically disregard everything they did to the character in the prequels,
Yeah.
where they kind of took, as you said, the most feared bounty hunter in all the galaxy, and just, I don't know, they just shitted him up, if that's a word.
Is it as
It is
bad as
now.
his death?
Well, I would probably take his death over his treatment in the prequels.
Yeah, fair enough.
Personally, so I think he deserves a reimagining. Not a reimagining. Stick to the story, but
Get rid of all that
a
shitty
different
stuff.
treatment. Yeah, just get rid of
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. If that answers. Do you want to read the second one?
Yes, I can. So this one comes from Alex at Duty Dutrum.
Yes,
Is
you
that
nailed
right?
it. Yeah, you
Yes.
actually nailed it.
Getting good. Do you think Tarkin will play a big role in Rogue One as he is the commander of the Death Star and an underrated character?
You're all looking at me like,
Yeah.
Your turn.
Well, I have no idea who Tarkin is.
Neither do I.
I'm not the world's biggest Star Wars
Guru?
nerd. Yeah,
guru
guru.
nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tarkin or Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He is
Oh, that
nailing it.
that
Yep.
clears it up.
So basically, he is the commander of the Death Star. He was, if you remember the original movies, he was played by Peter Cushing, sort of like an older gentleman, quite gaunt in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. I don't think so, because everything that I've read so far is that if he's going to appear, it's going to be like a Tupac at Coachella sort of thing, where they're going to it's going to be a hologram.
Yeah, right.
Well, they're going to use CGI, basically. They're going
Yeah.
to use CGI to bring that particular character back.
Okay.
I can't imagine that they would do that, with a really sort of extended story. So I think it will kind of be background. I think they'll probably focus more on Ben Mendelsohn's character, whose name escapes me at the moment. Orson something.
Okay.
And he'll probably likely be under the control of Vader, but I can't really see Grand Moff Tarkin making too much of an impact in this movie.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Me. I'm next. Peter at Oita B. What A-list actor, example Nicolas Cage or Bruce Willis, would you like to see cast in the current MCU or DCU, and who as? Yeah.
This Peter boy, he has a man crush on Nicolas Cage, doesn't he?
He does love Nicolas
I
Cage.
don't understand it, to be honest.
What?
What's not to understand?
Nicolas Cage. You think
He's-
about this.
Con Air,
Okay.
that
Think
hair.
about Con Air. Yeah,
Con
exactly.
Air is, reasonable.
Where he first steps off that plane
Oh, the wind.
and the wind's in his hair.
I saw a great
Oh,
gif
man.
of that. I think it was today or yesterday, and it's like him off the plane, the wind's blowing, and then they just take his head and he's flying off in space. It's bloody fantastic.
Yeah,
it
it's pretty
sounds
good.
about right for a Nicolas Cage movie, too.
Yeah, he'll
Yep.
take that role.
Yep, he will.
Floating head in space.
He'll do it.
So who wants to go first? Who wants to answer it?
Well, I can answer it because I'm already going to say Nicolas Cage, definitely not. But, they've got Bruce Willis there. That would be awesome. But he's getting pretty old.
You can pick anyone.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can pick
Any
anyone.
A-list actor. It doesn't
Ooh,
have to be. They're
how
just
about-
examples.
What about a lady that I can think of?
Who's an A-list lady right now?
Ooh,
Like
oh,
all of them.
I was going to say Halle Berry, but she's already.
Well, she
done
could
some
have. She
stuff.
could have another run.
Yes, she can.
Yeah, she's a boss. Okay, I'm going to stick with her. Yeah.
Okay. And who would you want her to see? Like, play? Just anyone.
Just anyone.
Yeah.
I,
You just
I feel
want her
like
in
I
there
miss
somewhere.
her. I haven't seen her. What's she doing?
I don't know what she's doing, actually.
Yeah, who knows?
Halle Berry, give us a call.
Yeah.
Let us
Yeah.
know what you're up to.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I already spoke to you about this,
Mm.
and and it's kind of come full circle because it's actually just happened. Jeff Goldblum, I want to see him in a Marvel movie,
yeah.
and he's just being cast in Thor Ragnarok as the ringleader.
Yes.
So
So, yeah.
I'm happy.
Well, there you
I'm
go.
done.
You've got your wish.
Yeah.
So no one else, though?
Dreams do come true.
You happy with that?
No, that's it.
That's it for me.
No one else in
I'm
the
done.
Marvel universe ever.
Okay.
But I do think he would have been good in an Ant-Man movie. I think his comedy style would suit an Ant-Man movie.
Yeah,
How he's
for
real
sure.
jittery and
Yeah, like an ant.
Like an ant.
Yeah, exactly like
Yeah.
an ant. For me, I think a Matt Damon. Oh, right.
yeah.
But check this out. I think of Matt Damon as a villain because we've never really seen Matt Damon as a villain, other than probably aside from, I think it was the talented Mr. Ripley or something like that. So I would go Matt Damon as a villain, and I'm thinking something like a Deathstroke.
He's probably a little short for a Deathstroke.
Well, how short is he? I don't know how tall Matt Damon
Have
is.
you seen how short Tom Cruise is? They make him look tall.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But
Yeah.
no, that's a good pick. You know, he's pretty jacked.
Yeah, he is pretty jacked. Or, what have you got?
Mark Wahlberg.
Marky
As-
Mark.
As I don't care.
As
Booster
anything.
Gold.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Someone who doesn't wear a shirt in the
Yep.
Marvel
Yeah.
Comics
Yep.
universe. Okay, so Matt Damon for me.
Mm-hmm.
You could also do him as if they're not going to use the Netflix characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why not a rebooted Daredevil? That'd be pretty cool, because think about that, like the whole Ben Affleck, Matt Damon best friends,
They are.
and it's like the passing of the torch for that character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No,
Cade's just shaking his head.
you're done, mate.
Okay,
You're
well,
cut off.
let's stick with Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Cool.
Next one, I guess, Chris Vera, at Chris Vera. So not so much of a question as a pretty sweet idea that I wanted to put to you guys. So this is what he says. He said, you guys mentioned Die Hard was a great Christmas movie. Maybe that's an upcoming poll. There's a few crazy Christmas movies. I'm partial to Home Alone, Gremlins, and Batman. What do you say? Batman Returns. Yeah. So think about that. So Christmas movies that aren't exactly Christmas movies, but are
You watch
still,
them all
but
the
you watch
time.
them on Christmas all the time.
Well, I saw this tweet come in and I got really excited because I was like, oh, how about Bad Santa? And Bad Santa 2 has just been, the first trailers
the
come out.
works.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, so that's what I'm picking, Bad Santa.
Excellent.
The Grinch, for sure.
The Grinch.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think we will run this poll
You reckon?
at some point, and we'll
This
see
will
what
happen.
people want.
Maybe we will run this towards Christmas and we do a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'd definitely do it at some point. I
Yeah.
think it's a pretty cool idea. It's also going to give me another excuse to rewatch Die Hard. He did put Gremlins in there, which is cool as shit too. So
Ooh,
what? Oh,
Gremlins
you're just
frighten
scared.
me.
You're just scared. And the last one?
Yeah, I'm going to let you read this last one.
Oh, okay. So we have Garrett who had to send it in via a direct message because it's almost a paragraph. But so essentially what he said is, what do you guys feel about the line between hero and villain becoming very thin? So back in the day when I used to watch movies, you could tell who the villain was. Now the line is too close. As an example, in The Dark Knight, I found myself cheering more for the Joker than I did for Batman. With Suicide Squad coming up, do you think that there are no more bad guys?
I think they're still bad guys, for sure.
Yeah?
But I think people like the bad guys.
Yeah?
I think a lot of people these days can sort of relate to some of the bad guys, I guess, traits. Not the crazy psycho part of things, but like, I guess how things have shaped them in their lives, and I guess they can see that. I love a good bad guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right. There's nothing wrong with a good villain.
Yeah.
And a lot of this pays off just to being a fan of the villain from the comics.
Yeah.
I don't think he's like worrying, I love psycho clowns.
No.
But-
But I think it's kind of like it's becoming sort of a situation where they are really starting to grey the line as to I guess the better sort of way to word it would be almost like an anti-hero.
Yeah, but
it's almost to the point that you want to root for the villain, even though technically that, or like as an anti-hero would, they're a good guy, but they have very, very questionable motives.
Yeah, but to refer to the Joker that he's talking about, he is no way an anti-hero.
No.
He's definitely 100% a villain. So I don't see his reference there to say it is the line becoming thin. I think he's mistaking his favoritism for the Joker to it blurring the lines for him.
Right.
so the Joker's very sort of publicised, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody's always seeing him in their faces, and they're like, "Man, I like that dude."
Yeah,
So-
exactly. That's it. They love that bad guy. It's
Yeah.
not that the bad guy's being glorified. It's just you like him because you're a fan of the Joker. It's
Yeah.
not he's becoming a good guy or...
Well, no, it's just it's not saying that a bad guy is becoming a good guy or a good guy is becoming bad guy. It's just getting harder and harder to tell who the bad guys are. I think that's the question.
Yeah.
And we are literally about to have a movie in Suicide Squad where every single one of them is technically a villain.
Yes.
Yet we will now treat them and celebrate them as heroes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's all fandom, right? You just have to look at Harley Quinn in it.
Yeah.
Man, everyone's, shitting themselves with excitement.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If that's a
Can't blame
level.
them.
Yeah, because they're just a fan of these characters.
Yep.
So that's my answer.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So we'll just take a quick second to thank everyone who listens, subscribes, and reviews. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Comic Confidential Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at Comic Con Pod. We've got the YouTubes, which is Comic Confidential when you search in the YouTube search bar. There's a website.
Yeah, we've got a website. That's comicconpod.com. We've also got the Patreon, which is patreon.com/comicconpod. And we also have a loot crate in the show notes. So if you want to support the show and get yourself some pretty cool shit, jump onto that little link and we get a little kickback.
Yeah.
Helps the show grow, helps us keep going and buy beers and energy drinks to keep
Yeah.
us running.
Basically. That's what we spend every cent on. Do you want to get into some news?
Oh, yes, I do. You're so excited.
I am. So, first bit. This is very exciting for me.
Yes.
So we got to get our first look at the animated Justice League Dark. And super, super exciting. And again, I'm pretty sure it's because of our hashtag,
Yep.
Bring Back Constantine. Matt Ryan is back as Constantine, if only in a voice capacity.
And it's damn good.
It is damn good. And I'm glad they didn't go with anybody else for this in particular.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would have just wrecked that character. Everyone, Constantine is the diamond in the rough that no one found. And
Yeah.
now that he's gone, everyone wants him back. So
Yeah.
this is a good runner-up prize for me.
Yeah, I'll take it until something else happens. Either he gets cast into one of these CW shows
Yeah.
or something like that. Whether it's going to happen or not. But I think it's cool. It's going to be our first look, and I guess the thing that we need to look at with this was essentially supposed to be a live action movie initially, and this would have been cool as shit. And we have spoken about it before on a previous episode. A little bit of casting that they had picked out. I think it was Colin Farrell for Constantine, Ron Perlman for Swamp Thing. But this is like you said, it's kind of like a runners-up prize. But I'm fucking super excited.
And I love like the DC animated movies. They're always really good.
Yeah, I really enjoy them.
Yeah, well, I think this, like a lot of what we see next, will bank on the success of this movie.
Yeah.
If this particular animated movie sees even a modicum of the success that so far The Killing Joke has seen, then it could spell good things for a future live action version, which would be great.
Staying with some DC news, Jeff Johns, he's now the president and chief creative officer of DC Entertainment.
Yes.
This guy hates a weekend, obviously. Taking on the two biggest jobs in the one company.
He just wants that corporate bathroom.
Yeah, he does.
That's all he's chasing.
He doesn't want to share.
He's chasing the golden key that gets him into the magical bathroom.
Yeah.
With the
The
escalators
birds
up
are
to
flying around.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a fantastic move.
Yeah.
He will still answer to probably the president of Warner Brothers or whoever when it comes to the movies. So he's not going to be like, just because he's president doesn't mean he is in 100% control.
That's right. He's not the one writing the checks here.
Exactly, but it puts the whole DC entertainment universe into a really, really good spot to have this guy with his vision and creative genius, I would say, at the head. I'm very excited. It's got good things coming for DC. Speaking of DC, let's keep
going. Just keep it
going
rolling.
with the DC. Bit of Flash casting news. So dope star Kiersey Clemens joins the Flash movie as Iris West.
Yes.
Now, if you haven't seen this young actress in Dope, I am telling you to go out and watch it for sure.
Yeah?
Yep, do it. She's fantastic.
She's
the movie
dope
is
in it.
fantastic. And the director, whose name, like, again, this always happens to me every time, like, I go on some sort of rant, I completely forget the
You
name of
must remember
people.
them all later and just be like, damn it.
Yeah, it's like, get me back in the studio, Cade, but it's like 3 days later.
Yeah.
It's like way too late.
Kate, I need to make an edit. No, mate, we're done.
No, it's done. Like,
Yeah.
the episode's been up for 3 months, mate.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the director of Dope is the director, Ryan Coogler. No, I've lost it.
Oh, mate.
Anyway.
Sorry.
You had me going
No,
there.
Ryan Coogler is the director of Creed, who is now the director of Black Panther. I'm totally confused myself. Point is, Kiersey Clemens, fantastic actress. She's going to kill it in The Flash as Iris West.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, because we record a little bit earlier than normal now,
Yeah.
we actually missed one really awesome bit of news from San Diego Comic-Con last week. And that's because it got released after we bloody recorded. And that's
Bloody hell, San Diego.
Yeah,
Come
What
on.
are you
together.
doing?
Now, Kurt Russell has been announced as Peter Quill's dad, which we already knew.
Yeah.
But he's also...
Well, it was rumored.
was it rumored?
It was
it wasn't
rumored.
confirmed.
Yeah, and now it's confirmed.
Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Right?
But the cool thing is he's also Ego, the Living Planet.
Yes. That is cool. It's cool, but I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely don't know how they're going to like pull it off, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's got me sort of really, really pumped for this movie. It's not the only thing that's got me pumped for this movie. Like, just about everything that they've done, like even from the first movie, I was pumped for a sequel.
Yeah.
But this is cool. Kurt Russell is cool. Do yourself a favor and check out Boss Logic's work that he did.
Yeah, that was pretty rad.
Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, check that out on the internets. It's just a movie poster, basically, with Kurt Russell as Ego, the Living Planet for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's cool as shit.
If I see anything in this movie, I want to see Kurt Russell with an eye patch
Yeah.
because I want to know he's actually got out of LA.
Yeah.
Or New York.
He did. I'm pretty sure he escaped from both.
Did he?
Okay.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's good to see he's moved on to bigger and better things and
Yeah.
became a planet.
Yep.
Exactly.
Everyone should strive for that.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. It is going to be interesting, that's for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, all shooting for that movie is actually completed now, so it's all in post-production.
Yep.
So I reckon we're going to start seeing some trailers soon. Apparently, there was a really, really good trailer released at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Really funny scenes between Drax and Ego.
Yep.
Right.
Apparently, Drax goes ahead and asks him, "Do you have a penis? You're a planet."
Nice.
And he's quite literal.
The important
Yeah.
question.
There's no humor to him. He's just, "Oh, you have a penis."
Well, being a dad, I would say that he probably would have
You would
a
think
penis
so.
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of penis. Maybe a tree-shaped penis or something.
Groot? What?
Oh, yeah, I
That's
didn't
where
even
it
think
came
of that.
from.
Oh.
You're a sick prick, mate.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay, we got our first look at Tyler as Superman.
Oh man,
Tyler Hoechlin as Superman.
Yes.
So it was an image released from the CW, I'd assume, or Warner Brothers or somebody. And it's obviously got Melissa Benoist's Supergirl and Tyler Hoechlin's Superman.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Let's go around the table. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Okay, go.
He looks amazing. Come on, like seriously. Okay, I'm a bit biased because I loved him in Teen Wolf and I've loved him in everything he's ever done.
Teen Wolf.
Don't. Hey, you guys watch The Walking Dead. I have my guilty pleasures.
Okay, that's fair.
Anyway, so I think he's going to do really well. I do.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think he will.
I think he'll do well.
Yeah.
I just there is something about this image.
Everybody is comparing him to Tom Welling.
I'm
so
not.
You're not.
I'm not. I
No.
swear. I am
Everybody
not.
I've spoken to
I
has had
think-
that in their mind.
Let me clarify this by saying that I think the suit looks awesome. Like I think for what they've done for a CW show, I think the suit looks great.
Yeah, it looks on point.
I think it's just the photo. It's just the picture itself, and it's our first look, but there is something about him that is just off.
Do you think he looks too rough?
No, I think he looks too small.
Too small?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
keep
it's the
going.
angle.
Well, exactly that. That's exactly what I think. I mean, like if you look at Superman is, he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's
Yeah.
like,
He's a big dude.
230 pounds, which is, roughly 105 kilos here. So that's a big dude. To me, this guy looks like he's probably pushing 90.
Soaking wet.
Kilos, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just for me. There's just something off. But I will reserve judgment until the show
Okay.
comes out.
Yeah, I look at the picture and I don't know if it's the angle that he's at, but he almost looks like he's stretched out.
Yeah.
He
Distorted,
Looks,
or-
he looks very lean. He doesn't look as a very confident Superman. You got Supergirl there, and she's standing tall, standing proud.
Yeah.
You get a sense of power about her.
Yeah.
But with this Superman, he's just kind of like, oh, I'm just here,
But
guys.
think about the pressure this kid is under.
Oh, yeah.
To pull this off.
He's an actor. It's a bloody photo, mate. He
Mate,
can-
you have seen what the internet is capable of when they do not like something.
Oh, of course.
You have seen what they can do. But this, there would be an immense amount of pressure. He is stepping into some massive shoes. There's already a current Superman.
Yeah.
This is something that has probably never happened before, where we've had a TV version of a Superman at the exact same time that we've had a movie version.
The Flash will happen. that
Correct
way.
me if I'm wrong, and the Flash will happen that way as
Yeah.
well. Grant Gustin has the confidence of having been there first.
Yes.
And he has built up himself as Barry Allen and the Flash. This guy's stepping into these shoes, and it's kind of like, even though it's only a small part, it's only going to run over a couple of
Few episodes, yeah.
sort of thing.
I will watch all of those episodes.
Oh, look, I will too. But yeah, I don't know. You over there.
Yeah, what?
Kate, what do you think?
I know. I think he'll do good. I'm going to reserve judgment until I do see him.
Yep.
Because a picture doesn't tell.
Say 1,000 words.
That's right. It
Exactly.
doesn't say 1,000 words.
No, it does though. That's the saying.
No, but this one doesn't.
We're breaking the norm.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So I'll reserve judgment and
Yep.
wait to see him in screen.
I'm just happy that we can get
Yeah.
a TV version.
Superman,
Yeah.
because they just opens up TV Aquaman, TV Batman,
Everything.
TV Wonder Woman. Yeah,
Everything.
Yeah. TV Flash.
TV,
Oh, wait.
TV Green. Oh.
Anyway, but you're exactly right.
Yeah, so-
there's absolutely no reason why none of these other people like can't exist.
Yep.
Because he's there now.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent.
And that's going to take us to the weekly wrap, the segment where we wrap up all the week's TV action, starting off this week with Preacher Finish the Song.
Yes, Jesse finds himself on the wrong side of the law. Emily finds Cassidy a nice meal, and the angels find themselves in hell.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
What'd you think?
Yes, I did think.
You did think?
Yeah. Look, for me, there were big revelations in this episode, which is good. There was big humor as well, which is also very good. Look, if I'm going to be honest, it didn't push the boundaries of the story a hell of a lot. You kind of finish it, and a couple of things have happened.
Yeah.
But what this does differently to the other show we'll talk about a bit later is that this brings in this really sort of really good dark humor that they've been doing so well all season.
Yeah.
And for me, like that sort of that sells it for me a lot of the times.
Yeah, definitely. And, we got to see a really good cold open this week.
Yeah, we did.
It was friggin' fantastic. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit later because it kind of all ties into how this episode ends.
It does.
But basically, this episode continues on from last episode. We see the ramifications of Jesse just shooting off people's dicks and...
Yeah, see, I still don't get this.
Yeah.
Like, how is he the bad guy here?
Exactly.
But, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
the sheriff could be in Kincannon's pocket. Like, who knows? He's obviously pissed off that apparently seems to believe that Jesse has killed his son, Eugene.
And he seems quite calm about it.
Well, quite calm because he's kind of like he leaves Jesse with a little bit of a chilling sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Is it like warning?
Yeah,
story?
of what's probably going to greet him in prison.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's almost planning to tee this up.
Yeah. But it doesn't happen because basically Preacher Jesse busts out, doesn't he?
He does. With his little
pen, a little bit of ingenuity with a pen.
Everybody should get pens.
You
See?
should have pens.
Oh.
See?
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Well, obviously.
Unless you're in a sword fight.
Then you're dead.
Then,
You're dead.
you should
You're
probably
just
get a sword.
straight up dead.
Anyway, so Preacher's story is kind of there's not really a lot to it this week, is there?
No, he
kind
gets
of just
caught, breaks out,
eats some bridge pancakes.
Yeah.
Basically,
with some bums.
Yeah, goes and finds Tulip, and she's gone at this point.
Yeah.
And he basically reunites with Cassidy, which is great. But his story doesn't really go much further than that, other than the fact that he has the heaven phone, and basically he's decided that this is what he's going to use to call God.
Yeah. We see Emily babysit Cassidy.
Yes.
And this was really weird. And like what happened here really tossed, like it threw me out the window. I had no idea what was bloody going on.
Yeah. So Tulip removes herself from the situation. Obviously, she goes off to Albuquerque, I think it was, to finally kill this Carlos guy that she's been talking about for so long. So she leaves Emily in charge of, like we said, babysitting Cassidy, who requires
Guinea pigs
and
No.
guinea pigs and goats and whatnot. In order to regenerate, which is not really working for him. He has definitely seen better days. Yeah, she kind of goes next level.
Yeah, and what was really weird about this is she actually called this the mare. So basically what she does is she offers Cassidy the mare to eat, to suck the blood out of.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting is that she called him his boyfriend.
Yeah, like her boyfriend.
Yeah, like about 5 minutes before this. So
Yeah.
this is why I was so weirded out by this. I was like, what the fuck?
It's kind of, because she doesn't, it can't be about Cassidy.
No.
Because she doesn't
Really know the guy.
She's had no real interactions with him. Is it the fact that like she just, she loves animals that much?
Or hates her boyfriend.
Or hates her boyfriend that
Yeah.
much? But, you're right. Like it's a weird twist.
Yeah.
But, so be it.
And considering that he is actually quite a nice guy to her. And
Yeah.
very, very helpful with everything that she does. For her to just throw him under the bus, is
As it were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, under the
The
Vampire.
vampire,
Yeah.
is
Maybe she's not stable.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody in that town is very stable right now. But yeah, it's just it was very, very brutal, really.
It
because
was.
she just lured him straight to his death,
Yeah.
without a second thought.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's just like, and there's no qualms about it. It's just like, oh,
yeah,
I'm trying to set this guinea pig free now.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But that is what it takes because he Cassidy ends up drinking the mayor, if you will. Nice bottle of mayor, and so starts to regenerate properly. And at this point, this is where Preacher meets up with him, and they decide that they're best buds again.
Are we going to have a shag?
Yeah, we're gonna have a shag, but they're best buds, and so they decide that it's time to to get rid of the body.
Yeah.
which is nice. It's nice.
It is
It's
nice.
good to have those guys back together. They have a really good sort of back and forth. I like it. It's good. Now, I think at this point we get to see how weird this town is because the Angels, Fiora and DeBlanc, have decided that they're going to use their second option. And their second option, we now know is that they're going to get the Saint of Killers, right? So apparently there's a place in Texas or Anvil where you can just walk in and just buy a ticket straight to hell.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
That is interesting. Now, it really makes you think, what is hell in this universe?
Yeah. See, for me, like how I took it, should we talk about it now or should we talk about it when we get to the point?
No, I talk about it now.
Okay, because for me, I'm assuming hell is each individual's private, a reimagining or
Their own sanctum.
Yeah, it's them reliving their worst day
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
Ugh, a terrible Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like a terrible Groundhog Day with a lot of death and whatnot.
Well, depending on what your hell is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Well, exactly. So that's how I look at it anyway.
I've got a little fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Because I nearly fell off my bloody couch when I saw this.
Oh, yeah.
When they catch the bus to hell,
Yeah.
that is a Easter egg for Breaking Bad.
Is it?
Yes. Jesse and
Walt.
Yeah. Heisenberg.
Yeah.
That is where they catch a bus to get out of town.
Ah,
Yes.
Right.
Go back, have a look.
I will.
Yeah. Got
Excellent.
so bloody excited. I like how AMC do these little crossovers. They did one with Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead where you see Walter White Smith show up in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wonder if this is, a little bit connected as well.
Yeah, well, it's which is it's good. I think it's surprising though that they didn't do something with Tulip, considering she was actually in Albuquerque,
Yes.
whereas these guys were technically in Texas.
How
which I
good
know
would it
it's
be
all
to see, like,
relatively close, but
You could see Hank there, pull her over or something.
Oh, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be so damn good.
Yeah, but then we'd get an under. Yeah, anyway, we could go into that. Yeah, we could go into
Could
that
talk
for
for ages.
But what we really need to talk about is we really need to talk about the big reveal of this show, and this is finally the culmination of the Saint of Killers, or I don't actually know. They're not calling him that in this show so far. I think they just call him the gunman or the cowboy. No, it's the cowboy.
Yeah, it's the cowboy.
Yeah, so they just call him the cowboy. I'm going to continue to call him the Saint of Killers because that's exactly what he is. He may eventually get that name. Who knows?
Yeah.
But his story that we saw, I think it was in episode 2, where we first saw the first part of it, has finally come full circle.
Full circle, yep.
And this is where we get the understanding that this guy is actually in hell. Everything that we've seen so far is him just reliving his worst day.
Yeah.
Which is good because the part where he walks into the saloon finally to just shoot up some bad guys.
Yep.
With 12 bullets, but he kills about 30 people.
Yeah.
I was borderline going to call shenanigans.
Yeah.
But then I kind of realized what was happening, and it's fair.
Yeah.
Because he does actually have unlimited ammunition, so that's cool.
He's put in the cheat code up, down, X, Y.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How did you feel about the whole retelling of his story? So once we actually, when it was all said and done, that's how we knew that this was, he was actually in hell.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, it looked like they were just replaying his entire story again.
Yeah.
So we got the cold open at the start, which was the end of the story. And then sort of, 3/4 of the way through the show, we go back to where we were in episode 2 and they start to replay that.
Yep.
And then they bring it all together and then they replay it again. And then they replay it quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. Did you like it?
It threw me off.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I know why they had to do it.
Yeah.
But I know maybe there was a better way that they could have done it. It fits in with the theme of the show, how it's also very weird and quirky.
Yeah.
But, I know, just to me, it kind of felt a little bit out of place.
Yeah. I think knowing the end result.
Yeah, knowing the end result, it got you there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sitting through it again, it was a little bit tedious.
It was.
They could have sped it up just a little bit more or something, and I understand what they're trying to do and the symbolism of it being like an endless circle for him, and every day or every time he wakes up, he has to relive the exact same thing again.
Yeah.
The symbolism is fantastic. I just think sitting through it was a little bit tedious.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Effectively what we end up with is Fiorin de Blanc finally going to hell and meeting the Saint of Killers and basically putting him to task to go and kill Jesse.
Yes.
Not before de Blanc cops a bullet right in the face.
And
Nice.
he didn't regenerate.
Yeah, I don't know that he will.
But he's an angel.
Yeah, but this is God's basically his
No-go zone.
well, no, but it's kind of this, like the Saint of Killers is effectively the hand of death, of God.
So once he snubs you out, you're gone.
Yeah, I think so. But I can't really
Yeah.
remember, but let's see what happens. I like the guy. I hope he comes back. Like, those two are pretty funny.
Yeah, they're great.
But we'll see what happens. So,
Yeah, we get to the end of the episode, and with Cassidy's help, and he seems to have a stash of angel body parts.
yeah.
Which
As
is
you do.
weird. Like, he knew this would have been handy.
No, it's not weird, because I initially thought it was weird as well. And then I thought, no, remember the whole church scene initially where he first killed Fiorin de Blanc and didn't know what to do?
Yeah.
He got the chainsaw and he cut up all the bodies.
Oh, right.
And then he dug the big hole and he just buried them out the
Yes.
back.
Oh, good point.
So it's not like he was just keeping them
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like a special occasion. It's just where he had actually buried them.
Ah, good point.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so it turns out you need an actual angel hand to operate the God phone, and he just happens to have a couple of spare hands lying around.
Has that angel touch ID.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But only
unlock-
works on the third time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to make sure there's no smudges on it or anything.
Or you've not got water on your hands.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the wind's blowing in the right way.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
holding
exactly.
up your left leg and shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you rate the episode?
I give it a 4.25.
Okay.
Now, again, I know I said at the start it doesn't really move it along that much. Realistically, we haven't really seen anything develop other than we get the whole full circle story of the Saint of Killers. But I think the way it's done, and I think the way it was all brought together, and I think with the level of humor that the show brings and the performances from the characters, it works well.
Yep.
So for me, 4.25. Really enjoyed it. Finale next week, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah.
I would have really loved them to actually call up Heaven and get the response.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
where the episode ends. I think it just would have pushed us a little bit quicker into this final episode, because I feel we're going to lose about 15, 20 minutes of trying to get him to call.
Well, yeah, fucking around with that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I really would have liked to see him just at least call and get someone to pick up.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't even need
Hello?
Yeah, that's it. Just hello, and that's it. That would have been
speaking.
great. Yeah,
Can you hold, please?
and it would have been good to see that. Like you said, finales next week. Come back, call and response.
Yes, looking forward to it.
And that's going to take us to Outcast, the Damage Undone. Reverend Dickhead Anderson confronts the devil.
Yo.
Megan and Mark get themselves in a whole bunch of shit. And Kyle has a happy reunion with his family, sort of.
Sort of?
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah, so this is the opposite of like what I just mentioned with the other show. So this is another episode where we have effectively nothing happened. And I'm probably jumping too far forward. But this is a show where we have effectively nothing happened.
Mate, it's Outcast. Everyone knows nothing happens.
Well, you know, it's just you get through an hour of it, and at the end of it, you're like, okay, we've advanced probably one step forward.
Yep.
So you finish the show. with no real further information than you had at the start. And that's like 7 episodes in now.
This could have been episode 3.
Well, yeah, like realistically, and that's not to say, don't get me wrong, that's not to say the show's bad. But what it does make it hard to do, and I've mentioned this before, is it does make it hard to talk about it and make it entertaining when over the course of an hour, 3 things happen.
Yeah.
We could just talk about those 3 things, I guess.
I guess.
I think the biggest, well, it's not the biggest thing. None of these things are big. Reverend Dickhead Anderson basically starts the show as victim, kind of like a little bit skittish and frightened and not sure what's happened. And obviously he's just had a pentagram carved in his chest, so
that'd fuck you up.
Yeah,
so.
you'd be a little upset.
And I was wrong. I thought I saw a goat's head in there last week.
Yeah, I'm like, actually, because I remember you said that. I'm like,
no, I'm a dickhead.
Yeah, why would there be
why is there a goat head on his chest?
Maybe it was just convenient blood that fell. That's what I'm running with.
Maybe like symbolism. Like it fell to look like a goat's head.
Could have.
Maybe you're a genius and only you can see these things.
Someone go back and do a screen grab of that.
I bet you there's not.
I'm going to look into it.
I will guarantee you there is not a goat. There's not a goat.
I'll Photoshop it in to prove I'm right.
All right. So he goes from, basically in this episode, he goes from being the victim to being the super cool guy that kind of like, he gets a lot more confidence, and then he walks up to his woman, and and then he just like
kisses her right on the mouth.
Yeah, gives her a big pash in the middle of the street. And so
I don't give a fuck who sees this shit.
Well, he didn't
I'm the
swear
boss.
all that. He didn't say that either, but
He could have.
he could have.
Should have.
And then he basically just walks in and confronts Sydney, who, the devil, we'll say. And, is just like a straight up, like, badass dude. And is just like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not going anywhere. And then it kind of like flips back to him kind of completely looning out.
Yeah, when he's on stage.
Yeah.
Once he sees the pentagram put into the statue.
Yeah. And he kind of like just flips out. And it's kind of like you've just done a full circle loon.
Yeah.
So that was that story. So that happened. But it was good. There were good performances. Like each and every person has done a really good job with their character.
Of playing mediocre people. Yeah, I feel that too.
No, but the performances were good. But it's just the story that they're trying to work with isn't really doing too much.
Yeah.
So now, see, this is the guy. Chief Giles is the guy that should be like the friggin' co-star here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's great.
It should be Carl Barnes, and it should be Chief Giles or Giles.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is. But this is like he's stone cold. He's always on the case. He's got that beautiful like sage wisdom.
Yeah, he's
slash
like,
advice all the time.
I feel like he's kind of related to Morgan Freeman as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it could be the show's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
But has a really good comedic aspect to him as well. He's quite funny. This like if we could spend more time with this character and his adventures, it should be called like Chief Giles and the Outcast guys.
Like a really shitty band.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, exactly. But for me, like for me, he's the character of the show at the moment. We got a lot more out of Megan and Mark.
Yeah, we get a little bit more of that backstory of what happened to Mark. He's a cop that beat down Donnie.
Yeah.
And turns out Donnie is a dickhead.
Donnie the dickhead.
Which we kind of already knew from his backstory.
Yeah.
We find out that he actually did rape Megan when they were, I guess,
Friends.
adolescents.
Yeah, teens.
And, it's not too good. Megan goes there to basically pay him off to say, this is everything I got. And it literally is.
Like everything.
Everything. She's like, I don't know how I'm going to explain this. This is my kid's school money.
Yeah.
I can't buy him shit.
Got stuff out of the couch.
Yeah.
We've all been there. But yeah, it does. And she gives him the money, and he does the Donnie dickhead thing.
Yeah. Takes the money and calls his lawyer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, this is something that I am going to call shenanigans on, because I don't understand law or law enforcement or things for the most part. Mm-hmm. But how did like Donnie's lawyers get their hands on the police camera footage?
Yeah, that's weird.
Can you explain that to me?
Oh, well, actually, it's not weird. What could have happened is a complaint could have been made, hey, you have to go look at these tapes. And that's when the chief is, look, mate.
Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair. So, so you're saying Donnie goes to his lawyers go to the cops.
Yeah.
They're like, review this footage. They review the footage, and there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Case solved. There you
Man, we should make a crime show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well,
me-
that throws my shenanigans out the window.
Just a side story. Me and Troy did have this idea for a magician cop show.
Yeah, magician detective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Keep
You
going.
know, what else needs to be explained?
Yeah.
He's a detective, but he's also a magician.
Does he wear a costume?
No, he's a detective, not an idiot.
God, and
He's
he-
a magician.
yeah, but he's a professional.
Yeah, and
right.
he's out to make crime
Disappear.
disappear.
Oh, you guys have thought about this too much.
No, well, yeah, we did actually.
Yeah, we wrote the pilot.
So look out for Magician Detective coming to the CW soon. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably talk about our cast. We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
Look, Kyle. So this is his story. So there's kind of the three main stories. So Kyle finally gets a little bit of a reunion with his family, which is nice.
Yeah. Is it
Initially.
though? Yeah. Initially. Yeah, it looks like things are starting to, I guess, get back together for him. He's getting back with his wife.
Yeah.
They start being intimate again.
Yep.
Next minute,
Yep. Just gone.
gone,
See you
bowed.
later.
And not only has she bowed, she's also left the child with him.
She has, yeah. But two things. Well, okay, a couple of things that are important out of this whole thing is one, we kind of get a sense that Allison is really starting to kind of get a sense of who she was.
Yes.
like she's having flashbacks.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what
She's
she
remembering
did.
what she did. She choked a little girl.
Yeah, yeah. So, so there is some sort of like remembrance there or something like that, which is interesting. We also get to see finally that the little kid isn't possessed either.
Yes.
because Carl makes an effort or an attempt to make sure that she's not. So that's cool as well. But it kind of leaves Kyle in a bit of a sticky situation because he now has his kid to look after. Allison is just gone, so he can't really protect her anymore. But he's still got all this work to do because Reverend Dickhead doesn't know how to perform an exorcist properly.
Yeah.
God, what a dickhead.
Exorcism, yeah. But we'll see what happens because it will return next week, won't it?
Unfortunately. So, what do you rate it?
Look, for me, it's a 2.5. 2.5 out of 5.
Yep.
And I did actually check a couple of ratings because I wanted to see what people were thinking.
Yep.
It actually rated pretty high this episode.
Yeah, IGN love this show.
Yeah, they do. And I can't even justify it. I can't justify it.
Yeah.
I was going to try, but I can't.
I mean, we're obviously not the target market for this. This isn't the show that we probably thought it was going to be.
Well, based on the first episode, I was sucked in, man. I'm like, yes,
That's how they get you.
Like, well, yeah, but this had all the markings or all the makings of a great show.
Yeah.
and it's just after 7 episodes. That's not to say that the show doesn't have its bright points, and that's not to say that the performances aren't good and all that sort of stuff. But nothing has happened.
No.
And I keep saying this every week, and people are going to get sick of me saying it. But we're going to do this show until the season's done, in the hope that it builds to something. But at the moment, it's lacking. So I give it a 2.5.
Yeah.
You, sir?
I'm going to give it a 2. Just really uninspiring episode for me.
Yeah, Amy. Watch it. But
Nah, well, I'm just going to give it a 1 because I'm ruthless.
Oh, reckless.
Damn. All right. But yeah, it does return next week or this week or however it works with What Lurks Within.
Yes, and there's only, I think, 3 episodes
3 episodes left. So
Yep.
let's
They better step
hope
up their game.
something happens.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
This week, Cade, Amy, and myself donned our red shirts to boldly go where no man has gone before, the cinema, to catch the latest deep space voyage of the intrepid Starship Enterprise. In other words, we watched Star Trek Beyond, directed by Justin Lin from Fast and Furious fame and surprisingly not starring Vin Diesel, which is interesting. This movie has gotten some pretty good reviews, but we're going to do what we do and break down all the pros and cons of the latest from Kirk, Spock, and the rest of the Enterprise crew. And yes, there will be spoilers.
And we might actually put a time note in because some awesome guy on Twitter said you should actually put some time notes in because I don't like all the shit you talk about. Obviously referring to Outcast.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
What else could it possibly be? But yeah, that's a very good idea. We will do that because this will be full of spoilers.
Yep.
The movie hasn't been out for that long. So if you haven't seen it, you can still listen and skip this bit and come back to it when you have.
Yeah.
So that's nice, isn't it? That's very nice of us. So what we'll do is we'll talk about some pros and cons. We'll go through the pros first.
Yeah.
I think we'll just do like a bit of a free-for-all this week.
Actually, wait. I hate to put you on the spot here, but have we had any numbers of this movie?
No. Look, from what I saw, I'm pretty sure it had hit about 70 million domestically.
Yeah,
So
right.
in the US.
Is that opening weekend?
No, it's not. It's not on its opening weekend. It was a little bit softer than that.
Yep.
The only thing I can remember just off the top of my head is that when you're looking at the 5-day total between this and Into Darkness, this sat quite a bit behind.
Really?
So Into Darkness had a much better 5-day opener. And yeah, but it's only first weekend / 1 week, so we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
And it is out against some other good movies at the moment. So
Yeah, what else is out at the moment?
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Tarzan,
That's a
there's
thing.
Ghostbusters, there's
Yeah,
Finding
Ghostbusters.
Dory. You know, we spoke about this. All the families don't have huge budgets to spend on movies. So
Yeah, so they got to pick and choose.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And is there a perfect time to release a movie?
Summertime
Yeah,
in the US.
and
isn't
just not any time near a Pixar movie.
it? Well, yeah, that's
You're
true.
doomed.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's get into some pros.
Yeah, do you want to kick us off?
I will. So for me, I guess the biggest thing that stood out for this movie is visually it was spectacular. I think it's, it doesn't take long before you start to see the Justin Lin effect.
Yes.
Like his camera work is brilliant at times. I think the whole thing, like, it's fast, it's frenetic. The initial scene with the swarm attacking the Enterprise is pretty epic.
That
Yeah.
swarm was the best. Like, it was just amazing.
Yeah, it was unreal. And
Yeah.
one thing that I loved about this movie was there was zero lens flares.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is true. But you can really tell that this is a very, very well versed action director.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because the movie itself, like, just it was shot beautifully, in
Good
my
taste,
opinion.
yeah.
And look, for me, I was one of the original fan, not the original fans. I was one of the few fans, I guess, of Into Darkness, because this is a movie. It's not that it didn't have a lot of fans. It was very divisive between fans.
Yeah.
Some people thought it was way too dark for a Star Trek film. I thought it was great. I thought the whole thing was good. I thought Khan as a villain was excellent.
Yeah, so did
Yeah.
I.
Okay, so maybe I'm not the only person.
No, you've at least got maybe one or two others.
Yeah.
I did like the first movie, yes.
The second one.
Second.
Whatever.
Whatever, man. I'm not here for my facts.
Yeah, jeez. You know I don't fact check.
But for me, this movie in particular had that real classic Star Trek vibe. So not so much like the rebooted movie vibe. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, looking back to the original TV show.
Yeah, like how everyone was. It was almost like they were a family.
Yeah,
The,
there was much
the
more
Brady
closeness.
Bunch of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like way cooler than the Brady
Yeah.
Bunch. But yeah, you really get a sense of the camaraderie of the team. You really get a sense of, like, it's just classic fun for me. That's the best way I can sort of put it. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about this movie was the humor.
Yeah.
We got Getting More Bones.
Oh.
That was fantastic.
That was one of the best things.
Yeah,
I
he
think.
was like so sorely missed in the earlier movies because he's funny as fuck, and he's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
You know-
Well, that's exactly it.
He's just a grumpy prick.
Yeah.
And everybody loves.
And I
Carl
can
Urban
relate.
is great, man.
He is. He's fantastic. And the interaction between him and Spock.
Yeah.
I could just watch a movie of those two.
Oh, yeah.
They should get their own like sitcom.
Yeah, that would be great.
Spock and
Hilarious.
Bones.
Spock and Bones.
Perfect Strangers.
Yeah,
the
well-
reboot.
Their dynamic was my everything.
Was
Yeah.
it?
It was.
Your everything. That's lovely.
Well, Spock with his deadpan logic.
Yep.
And Bones with his stupid level of sarcasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two bounce off each other, and it's fantastic.
And I think if you had one without the other, it'd be almost too much of one side.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, for me personally, you can't get enough Bones.
Nah,
No.
I agree.
In particular, Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Let me point that out.
Yeah, he's always like on the borderline of cracking the shits about
Oh
something.
man, always.
And I can relate to that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think what brings this humor together. So I spoke about the Justin Lin effect.
Yes.
Is the Pegg effect.
Yep.
So the Simon Pegg effect, because he is one of the main writers of the script.
Yeah, and I didn't find this out till the movie actually finished.
Yeah, and while the script we'll get into a little bit later, not so much the script but the story, you really get a sense that this guy has spent a lot of time with these people. He knows these guys well.
Yeah.
And I think the writing comes across like that. The interplay between the two in particular is pretty good, as well as the interplay between Jayla and
Montgomery Scotty.
yes, Scotty, of course. Simon Pegg himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even, Kirk and Chekhov and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, it works really well.
Yeah. We've already touched on her, but, we got our introduction to Jayla.
Yep.
And she kicks some major ass in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I really like the character.
If you were saying that the camaraderie between Spock and Bones was your everything, she was my everything in this movie. Like, she made the movie for me.
Yeah, really?
Really?
Yeah, I loved every scene she was in.
Right.
Everyone. I was waiting for her to come back on the screen. I was like, what's she going to do? What's she going to say? Her broken English, everything.
Yeah,
Great.
it was good. I think it's disappointing that she didn't get a little bit more of.
She could have been in a lot more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little bit, like everything. It's kind of like she was kind of there for action scenes.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
it.
Do you know what I mean? And that's fine. But she was very kick-ass. She looked great.
Yeah, she looked amazing.
Yeah. And the fact that she was listening to Fight the Power by Public Enemy
yes.
was cool as shit.
Damn, I was done. Put a fork in me
Just her
Again.
music
again.
selection.
But she had some pretty cool toys as well.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, toys are devices.
Yeah, like weapons and things like that.
Yeah.
She was just-
booby traps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just awesome.
She was cool. So that's definitely something.
Yeah.
But look, here's something that I wanted to point out. The fact that we get to see Anton Yelchin as Chekhov one last time, I think is great, and I think they gave him not that it is a farewell for him, because obviously no one knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he was given so much more to do
Yeah.
in this movie in particular, I think is great, because you get a sense of like how how well he does the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
He was almost played. Well, he was played off as a hero in this movie, and
Yep.
you're going to get a more fitting send off.
Yeah.
Than that.
Yeah, bit of a womanizer, but definitely a hero, which is good. It's going to be hard to go on to Star Trek 4 without him.
Yeah.
They cannot recast.
No, absolutely not.
I
They
think-
have to retire the character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to come up with a good way to sort of to officially send him off. And apparently, and this actually shits me to tears because we didn't stay. There was a post credit scene.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah,
I thought for sure there wouldn't be. I was like,
No,
oh,
there
the
Wait.
credits are
Was this
rolling.
like a big green hand?
No.
What was it?
I'm sure that's what
was
I
it?
read.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. It might have been, but I think from what I read, I read it was almost like a little tribute to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
That
Oh, I did see that it sort of flashed up and said for Anton at
yeah.
the end.
No, it's an actual
Okay.
scene.
Okay.
But I honestly don't know too much more than that, other than the fact that us idiots who always sit to the very
Yeah.
end didn't sit to the very end.
Yeah. Well, it was late.
Actually, you know what? We also missed the Ghostbusters end credit scene too.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really sort of matter too much, apparently, in the grand scheme of things.
No, because that definitely won't be getting a sequel from the numbers it's been getting.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
You never know. once it makes budget,
Yeah.
Mate, if it took, and we're not here to talk about Ghostbusters, but if it took those initial reviews, right, on, say, IMDb,
Yeah.
and it managed to crawl back up anywhere near a 6, which it has,
Yeah.
like from where it was sitting, like, there's some love out there for it. And there's certainly some love for Anton Yelchin, which is good. I think the final scene, or one of the final scenes, kind of had Kirk riding a bike on the planet, kind of like acting as a bit of a distraction, with some of Jailer's booby traps attached to his bike.
So cool.
I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the CGI was a little bit shoddy in points.
I didn't think the CGI was too bad. I just think the logistics of having a motorbike on a spaceship that's 100 years old
That still works.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
And I'm sure we'll
And like,
get to
why-
this at
why-
some point.
This because
Cade.
No. Let me have this. I have to say it now because it's on my brain.
Okay.
The ship that they get into, that's 100 years old as well.
Yeah.
could only take off when it's in space.
Yeah.
Why on earth would they have a fucking motorbike on that?
Well, obviously, because they at some point dock, don't they?
Dock where?
Like
Who
in
knows?
places, I can't even remember the name of the place that they docked at in this movie.
Yorktown.
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 Yeah, so like that, and
Yeah,
like,
but this is
so that's-
ancient technology.
It's 100 years ago. Do you understand that makes it like 2166?
yes.
Which is still well
It actually
into the
looked
future.
really old when you think about that.
Well, it did, but I mean, we have nothing now that looks anything like it.
No.
So you wanna pick on the logic of them having a motorbike on there, but
it
you
was-
don't want to talk about the fact that maybe how the fuck did they get this 100-year-old spaceship working?
Mate, I was getting to that
Well,
part.
that's why I thought we'd get there.
We are still
eventually.
in the pros
We're
of
technically in the
this.
pros.
Okay,
My
yeah.
whole point to this was right, and this is my whole point. It's not so much that it was like logically.
Unsound.
Yeah, it's the fact that it was very fun, and it was very much it's something that you would expect Captain Kirk to do.
Yeah.
It's a very, very Star Trek-y thing, and probably one of the more Star Trek-y things that these guys have sort of done.
Yeah.
so far.
It's that whole fun approach.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, and speaking on that, Chris Pine, as well, you knew it was coming at some point.
Yep.
But Chris Pine is he is a fantastic Captain Kirk.
Yeah, he
And he's-
kills it.
He's
He does.
starting to slowly start to show those little sort of homages to to William Shatner's Captain Kirk with there's a couple of times with the way he speaks in certain points and things like that. He's starting to really sort of pull from that, and that's kind of like leading to the maturity of the character, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
One thing that I really liked about this movie was the pacing as well.
Yeah.
We were, excuse me, balls deep into the action on this movie, and it didn't feel like it was rushed.
Yeah, I really liked that. Like they went out and then they were going to inspect this other planet or whatever
yeah.
through the
nebula.
Yep. And then bam, straight
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, it was good. It was very quick into the action. I guess that's another Justin Lin trait. If you've seen any Fast and Furious movie, it's light on story, heavy on action.
Yep.
And that's not to say that he does the story or anything like that. I understand there's a difference between a director and a writer and all that sort of stuff. But it's definitely his effect. The movie flowed really well.
It did.
Yeah.
Excluding a couple of things, which I'm sure we're about to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Here we go.
Well,
Is everyone done with their pros? Though?
I
Yes.
think so. I think we've really covered everything that you want to. We can just keep going, keep rambling.
Yeah,
But
I just
let's-
want to say that it was just a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
A lot.
definitely. How long was the movie? It was over 2 hours.
2
wasn't
hours.
it?
2 hours.
Yeah, felt like half an hour.
I know.
It was bloody
I love
great.
movies that do that where you're not like, shit, I've been in here for an hour.
The
They're still
only
an
thing
hour.
with it is it almost makes me feel like it could have offered me more then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, maybe.
But then does it spoil it? You know,
never
is
know.
is the grass always greener?
Never.
Never.
I also thought like it went really well, all that sort of stuff. I did get called out for tweeting during the movie, which is fantastic. But I swear to God, I was paying attention.
Yeah. And to be fair, there was like us and 2 other people in there.
There wasn't a
Yeah.
that's something, and we're getting into our cons, so let's we can talk about some negative things now if we want. It was for a movie that has only just sort of been released, because literally it had only been out for 4 days when we saw
Yep.
it in Australia, and the cinema was empty.
Yeah, I saw it last night, and there was 5 people plus me.
Damn.
Yeah, so there you go. It's it's worrying signs, and I know it's not that type of movie that's going to get everybody
Everyone.
in, but it is kind of a movie that everybody could watch if they just gave it a chance. You don't
Yeah.
have to be a Star Trek fan to
Well,
to enjoy this type of movie.
My husband doesn't like Star Trek at all. And I was like, you're coming to this movie because I'm going to see it and I don't want to sit by myself.
yeah.
And he really enjoyed it. He was like, that was great.
Oh, there you go. Well,
No expectations.
Exactly.
Yes.
He'd never even seen a trailer.
Star Trek
So-
Beyond has a glowing reference.
Yeah.
From
I'm
the
going to
young
make
man
him put it
named
on
Reese.
there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some cons.
Yeah.
I'll let you
Do you
kick
Do you
this.
want me to start?
Yeah,
I'm
can
going to
you?
start with what I think is the biggest one. And again, we're full spoilers if you haven't gathered already. So if you're at this point and you're like, oh, maybe I can get away with some stuff, you can't now.
Yeah.
come
because
too
we are
far.
going to ruin everything. Idris Elba as Kral, whatever his name is. See, I didn't even
Kral.
care. I didn't
Yeah.
even care to find out what his name is. How are you going to use an actor like Idris Elba and then you're going to make him so unrecognizable that you can't even draw on his star power, and then give him such a villain that has no depth or
Yeah,
you
so
know,
mediocre.
like so mediocre. It's like his first scene when you first see him, when the swarm attacks the Enterprise, and his
Drops
pod
in.
busts in and he just drops in, and that was cool. Like, and you're like, okay, maybe like this is gonna be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But then from then it's just nothing.
Do you know, I did not even know that it was Idris Elba.
Really?
I didn't know.
No, I'm with you on that because even when he got turned back to his
He
human
looked
form,
different.
I was
He
like,
looked weird.
I was kind of like, is that Idris?
Does no one pay attention to the movies before they come
No,
out? Like,
I try to
everybody
stay
knew
away
that, like,
from them.
Idris Elba was cast in this movie, surely.
Nah.
No. And the,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
and the thing is,
Well,
when
that's
he
fine.
when he
That's fine.
turned more human, I guess I was sort of second guessing myself. Like,
Yeah.
is it him? And then I waited till the credits, and I was like, holy shit, it was him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I went in full knowing that it was Idris Elba.
Maybe that's why you could not pay attention to something.
Yeah, maybe.
See?
Look, because to me it was just, think of it like this. Think of Eric Banner's Nero from the first movie.
Yeah.
A very, very carbon copy villain. It's just very generic.
Yeah.
And, you take the star power of Idris Elba and then you shoehorn him into a character that has almost literally nothing to do until the end of the movie. It just, for me, like it didn't work. It didn't work for me at all.
That was my pet peeve of the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I really didn't like about this Kral character is and tell me if this is just me, but I didn't understand his ability to live for ages.
Yeah, how
'Cause
did
he's
he develop
over
that?
100 years old. Is it the alien technology? Is it his ability to regenerate his human form? Did they explain like anything? Because it's just like he's old.
Yeah.
As fuck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe that's why. Like, maybe he just hasn't moisturized for a while, and that's why it looks.
Maybe.
And like what he's doing when he's grabbing the human's head is like he's getting their moisturizer and he's putting it on his own face.
Well,
and slowly.
wetness
Maybe it's
is the essence of
Maybelline.
beauty.
It is. It is.
Thanks, Derek.
But so they did explain that it was some sort of like it was the alien technology that was left on the planet that allowed them to live as long as they had. It also caused them to turn into these whatever they're called. I don't even know what they're
Swarm.
I don't
Yeah.
understand then how he was human at the end.
Well, and that's the point that I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he was kind of using the human life essence,
Yeah.
as it were,
Yeah.
to revert himself back into his human form.
Is it like he's got chameleon properties? He just makes himself look how he wants to look?
Yeah, and I guess
No,
that would,
but there was definitely something happening in the sense of like what he was doing to, like to the crew of the Enterprise that was affecting his appearance, because every single time he touched one of them, he changed slightly.
Yeah, that's true.
And started to look more and more human.
Can
But
I?
then- oh, yeah,
no,
go.
sorry, you go.
But then I was going to say, if he's lived this long and now looks like this scaly lizard, how did he get to that point and be like, I've used up all, how did I live this long and be a lizard and now I'm going to go back and be a human again?
Well, I think it's all part of his master plan. His plan in the end, like you can't just rock up as a big scaly lizard-looking dude to Yorktown and just go, well, I'm going to unleash this virus because people will see you a mile away.
Technically, he could.
Everybody looks weird in Yorktown.
No, but like not that weird.
There was
Look,
a
I don't
bitch's claws open. Ooh,
Jesus.
I'm getting very into it now.
Yeah. Look, I think we're trying to find logic where there is none.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. And
True.
I don't think they explained it. But if they did, let us know. Like by all means, like if you have the answer, like let us know what it was, because we saw it once. And in that one sitting, it didn't explain itself. If we have to look deeper, we have to look deeper.
Yeah.
But I think that's something where you probably shouldn't really have to look too deep.
Now, I'm just going to point out like a little bit of this is a pet peeve of mine.
Yep.
He had an accent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he could speak normal English, right?
How do you mean?
Before.
When he came to his human form, he could speak normally.
Yeah.
When he was Krull,
He had
Yeah.
broken English.
he had broken English.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, maybe he's an alien. He's not part of he doesn't understand the English language as well. But it didn't make sense. Just have him bloody talk normally.
But
He's just doing
but do you remember when Uhura initially meets him and he speaks to her and she says, "Oh, you speak our language," and he's like, "I've been exposed to it." So
But he's from Starfleet.
yeah, but my point is like he obviously understands the language, but as part of this mutation or whatever that's happened, perhaps it affects his ability to maybe
speak English words.
Well, no,
He does
like
speak another language, though.
yeah,
like when he's in
exactly.
that
So
form.
like it's the alien technology. Is the alien technology turning them into whatever that alien race was?
Yeah, maybe.
So it's it's,
Logic again.
Yeah, logic.
Logic. Talking about logic, leaving his motives to the very end was a mistake, I think.
Yeah.
How it was just last 10 minutes of the movie, this is what I'm doing.
Like, I like to be kept guessing a little bit
Yeah.
in movies, but I was like, oh, where is this going?
Yeah.
What's happening? And
Yeah.
then, bam, straight at the end, everything happened, and then he was gone.
Yeah,
And he knew everything.
Yeah.
How to do everything.
yeah, it's one of from start to finish with this guy. It was handled really poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't really get a clear understanding of what he wanted until you're right, until right at the end. And then you kind of understand that, okay, like he used to be a captain of the Starfleet, and basically got abandoned on this planet once they crashed.
Yep.
Felt betrayed.
Felt betrayed.
Yep.
He also felt betrayed because he fought so many wars prior to,
Yeah, he was a veteran.
Yeah.
everything sort of being established, that he felt kind of to be just given a cushy captain's job. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't
He didn't
know.
like it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the whole thing is just, it's kind of, it's just, why leave it to the last 20 minutes to kind of reveal what's happening?
Yeah.
It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
His whole character, I think everything revolving around him was probably one of the downfalls.
Yeah.
If we're going to
Yeah.
say that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, with this character, I never felt there was a threat.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Even the people who were held captive, they never seemed like they were in any real danger.
I did get scared when I thought he was going to kill Sulu. That really nearly broke my heart.
Yeah, I would agree with you in the sense that, there was never any real threat.
Yeah.
But we'll move on.
Yeah,
We've
let's
spoken-
move on.
we've
Let's
spoken
move
enough
on.
about Krull, because we can talk about the whole story, the story as a whole. Really,
Yep.
I think it's very what this movie has in its visual presence and its fun. It lacks in what is a an actual original story. Everything is everything has been done before.
It's rehashed.
It's rehashed. We've seen
Yeah.
it. We've seen it a million times. It's like they're out, they come back home, then it's kind of like, oh, we've got to go back out again. All shit,
Hits the fan.
hits the fan, and then it's kind of like, oh, here's an easy solution about how we fix it, and then off they go.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm going to point out a couple of things specifically, I really want them to stop destroying the Enterprise.
Please.
Like,
Just,
seriously.
And it's always such a massive scene in any of these movies when they
Yeah.
destroy the Enterprise. I'm like, shit, I saw this like last movie. It's the exact same scene almost. It's just
Literally,
crashing
it
into different
happened
places.
into darkness.
Yeah.
And you
And
do
everyone
something different.
yeah.
Like we get it. Like we understand the importance of this ship. And maybe what they're trying to do is like maybe they're saying that the ship is not what's important. It's the crew that's on it. But like just do something different. Like we don't need to. Like I think it's like the 6th or 7th time or something that the Enterprise has been destroyed in the movies that have been released. But out of the 3 that have like come out since 2009. It's happened twice.
can you imagine their insurance premiums? That'd
Oh, it'd be
through
crazy.
the
Nobody
roof.
would insure them.
No.
Let's
It
be
would
honest.
be crazy.
Let's be honest.
But the biggest thing for me is the fact that, like we touched on it before, the ship's been there for like 100 years, and every single little thing that goes wrong is a very, very, very easy fix.
Yes.
Yeah. Scotty's got that down. He can just get that. He can get it flying in no time.
Even to the point when you initially, like when the Enterprise has crashed and Chekhov and Kirk make their way back to it, and it's kind of like, oh, can you get the lights up and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yes, I can.
Let me just turn the light button
Yeah,
on.
there's the light switch
Which
is
still
just
has
down here.
power and everything.
Yeah, it
even
totally,
though it's just crash landed
it totally
from
works
space.
perfectly. So that to me was very like, there's the fact that they can get the ship even operational.
Like
That
the
was
thrusters working,
It's-
flipping it over.
It is just a bizarre amount of coincidences that they get off this planet.
Yeah, even to the point where it's kind of like everything works.
Yes.
Every single little thing on this ship that has been there for so long that rock has formed around like the thrusters or whatever at the back. Not the
Yeah.
thrusters, but whatever those
Jets,
two little tailpipe
whatever.
things at the back are. Like rock has kind of formed around that because once they turn everything on and they engage, it kind of like breaks all the rock apart and like all that sort of stuff. Like that's how long it's been there
Yeah.
for. Yet every single little thing is an easy fix. And to me, that was just like it's just no.
Yeah.
There's no real danger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Jayla is pretty switched on. And
Yeah.
she's been on that ship for how long?
But it's not necessarily her that does everything.
No, and that's what I mean. Like, she's been there so long. Like, surely she would know the stuff. But Scotty just comes in and like, I'm going to fix this.
Yeah.
Bam.
And I know that these guys are supposed to be the best of the best and
Yeah,
all that sort of
yeah.
stuff, but it just seems very, very convenient the way they fix everything. And the biggest thing for me, and this is either you are either going to love this or you're going to hate it.
Is this the biggest coincidence in the movie?
Well, it's how they effectively destroy the swarm.
Yes.
Right? So what it boils down to is they get the idea that they're all flying in perfect like
Sync and harmony.
Yeah, because they have this, they're all running on the same frequency or whatever. So that's how they can swarm so effectively and not crash into each other and be such a powerful force. So they figure out the way that they can disrupt this is to disrupt it by basically blasting like a loud noise and disrupting that frequency, and they decide to do it on VHF, which is the only thing that this ship has apparently, or it has VHF, which is the only thing that the swarm wouldn't be able to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, it was cool as shit,
it was.
right? To have the Beastie Boys again with Sabotage blasting. The whole scene was done really well. Like Kirk even, like with a little bit of a smirk and, he's like, great choice. And, it's a throwback to when you heard it in the first movie and stuff like that. Like it's fantastic, but it's just another really, really easy fix.
Yeah, and it's not really explained like how it affects the ship. Yeah, it disrupts their tracking or whatever. But the ships, they seem like they just explode.
Explode, yeah.
Do they fly into each other?
Yeah.
They really seemed pretty indestructible at the start of this movie when they're flying through the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're kamikaze pilots or not, but they're coming out the other side.
Yeah, well, that's another thing I was going to say. When they ultimately destroy the last 3 ships, they just fly straight into the Enterprise. Weren't they doing that the whole movie?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, it needed to happen, but like,
To me, the way I looked at it, or the way I saw it, was that basically they lost their
Swarm.
their swarm
Yeah.
capabilities, and they crashed into each other and they exploded
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
But again, it's just very convenient.
Yeah.
And it's the throwback to the earlier bit with the fight the power and all that sort of stuff. I thought it was very funny, the way that I think it was Bones referred to it as like classical music
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which was cool, and the whole scene was cool.
I loved
And-
the scene,
And this
but-
is my overall problem with the movie, is that it all looked really, really good, but the substance just wasn't there.
Yeah. I'm going to nitpick here.
Yeah.
okay,
The technology in the ship
Yep.
seemed like it was from an old ass boat.
Yeah.
Green screens for everything.
Yeah.
Come on. When was this? Did this shit go out? 2100?
Yeah,
it
basically.
had like
we'll
DOS
say.
box on the thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, come on. The screen I'm looking at right now is more high tech than that.
Yeah, that's
2016,
that's
guys.
that's a
Jeez.
fair point.
It's-
It's a good 150 years into the future.
Exactly. I'm sure this screen will get a lot better than
Yeah, I'm
some
pretty sure
green.
it will. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe
yeah.
they're just using it as a symbol, I guess, to show you, it's old as shit, but we still made it work.
Yeah.
Does that mean like Star Trek's in an out of time?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Kind
not
of thing.
in sync.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They are well known for doing time travel.
Yeah, well, that's true. But maybe we just need to look at it like, again,
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Logic.
Okay, so are we happy to move past the story and Krull and all that sort of stuff
Yeah.
and just
I had one
knock out a
last
couple of
thing.
little things? But yeah, what do you got?
Which it was the end fight scene, I guess. I always have this issue with movies that do this.
Oh, yeah.
So the end fight scene between Kirk and Krull.
Yep.
So Kirk walks in, Krull's back is turned, he's climbing a ladder. He's all dopey and shit, falling over.
Yep.
He shoots him, Krull's lying on the ground, and then they spend like 10 minutes having a good old chat.
Yeah.
And before you know it, boom, the bad guy's up, he's about to blow up Yorktown. And now you've got to find this amazing escape again. Like, I get that it makes really good
Drama.
drama.
Yeah.
And it was cool as shit to see like Spock and Bones catching Kirk as he's about to fly out into space.
Yeah.
But it just really irritated me because I felt it went too long.
Yes.
That bit.
Yeah. So here's what you do. So you disable the bad guy,
Yes.
right? And then you save the day, and then you
have
come
a chat
back,
to him.
and then you have a lecture,
Yeah.
and say this is why it all went wrong.
Yeah.
You
And
bloody dickhead.
Yeah, and you should
Yeah.
like relook at your motives and rethink your whole life.
Yeah.
Instead of having that conversation
When it's
before
like
you stop the
D-Day.
threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's counting down.
Yeah.
And it makes me anxious. I'm like, oh my God, just
Just do
Do
it.
And movie minutes and seconds are so much
oh,
longer than...
yeah, real
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my last annoyance.
But that's fair. I think that whole the whole ending of it was wrapped up way too neatly.
Yeah.
It had its cool moments.
Oh, it
for
was
sure.
it was all really cool, but I had little bits that sort of just irritated me a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, the whole part with them like effectively flying around in the gravitational slipstream and stuff like that. I thought it was cool. You're shaking your head.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Oh, no, I thought it was cool. But
If
how
you
did
had-
Krell know about this?
Well, he saw
Like-
the glass floating
Yeah.
behind him and was like,
He's
well,
a smart dude. He's a Starfleet captain.
he's got nothing
Well-
to lose. He's going to jump into it and see where it takes him.
Can I just say, if you saw shards of glass,
I would not be diving into it.
it's like, oh, let's go where the glass is.
And I cut
Yeah,
up my face
for
and
sure.
everything.
All right.
Anyway.
Okay, so
Story done.
a story done.
Story done.
Story done. Krull done.
Yeah.
Two biggest downfalls, but unfortunately, the two biggest things of the movie. I had a couple of other things.
Okay.
So one for me is that, and so I'll talk about this one first. So Sulu. So the big reveal that Sulu is gay.
Oh, how political.
Well,
I loved it.
yeah, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
it's great. But with the deal that was made, the
yeah.
big deal that was made about how they were going to do it, and Star Trek was going to have its first gay character, was really just sort of like swept under the rug with kind of like a little bit of a hug. And did they kiss? I can't even.
No.
No,
like,
no. Well,
No.
they were supposed to, but the scene got cut.
Yeah. So like,
I don't understand why they find it necessary to publicize that so much.
Well,
like, is it such a draw? Like, if people see that, they're just going to be like, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
cool.
cool,
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
awesome, good for you.
Well,
Sully.
one of the things the TV show did, and it was a real oversight from everyone who ever watched it, not many people noticed it, is that they're so far advanced as a civilization that this doesn't matter. There's
shouldn't,
there's
yeah.
no boundaries of sex.
Yeah.
Interracial.
Yeah, interracial, religion,
terrestrial.
Interterrestrial.
Yeah, interterrestrial.
Different heads.
And if you watch some classic episodes of Star Trek, you will actually see male cast members walking around wearing dresses because there's no segregation.
Yeah, and that's great. Which kind of like, I'm not asking for a big grand gesture or a big grand reveal or something like that. But it's, if you're going to make a big deal out of it,
Exactly.
then kind of make a big deal out of it, or give it the respect that it's due, or don't mention it and
Yeah.
just have it as that kind of
I
side
would
thing.
prefer
And
the latter.
Yeah,
Just
and
to
where-
see it
Don't
happen.
mention it.
Yeah.
like where you said, it's just kind of like, oh, cool, there you go, and
good
then,
for you.
everyone just moves on.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't bring such big drama.
And I think a lot of productions now do that. They draw on things that people think will be controversial
Well,
because
yeah.
they get more interest, I
Now
guess.
let's just point out the fact that that's not necessarily the movie's fault.
No,
Because
not
it's
at
not
all.
the people involved necessarily with the movie
No.
who are
Yeah.
kind of going, oh, hey, we're going to do
Here's this idea
It's going to
we've
be
got."
so cool,
Yeah.
you guys.
No.
So it's not necessarily directed at them. It's just something that I had a gripe with. Like, you don't make a big
Yeah.
deal out of something that's not a big deal.
And I like
it's
that
2016
scene.
for fun.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah. The other thing I did have a problem with is a lot of the other characters didn't really have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had your main guys, but the rest of them didn't really do much. Zoe Saldana sticks out for me. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman who deserves way much more, so much more screen time than she got.
Yep.
And she's a very talented actress as well.
I felt like when she was on screen, she wasn't really doing much. Like
Yeah.
when she's sitting at the do this, blah blah blah. She's sitting there switching a switch or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's much more of a deep character than that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like her role in Into Darkness was a lot better.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was kind of like she was sort of pushed to the back, whereas Jayla was brought to the front. And now all of a sudden, we're supposed to care about Jayla as a character when we actually have never had anything to do with her before. Nor do we know her backstory. Nor do we know anything.
Yep.
But and then Uhura is kind of like a second string character in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is similar to what they did to Bones in Into Darkness. But whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That wraps that up. Do you want to move on to some ratings?
Yeah, we'll do some ratings and an overall wrap up. How
Yeah.
about you go first?
I'm going to give this movie, it's a good solid 75.
Yeah.
The thing that lets it down for me is, there's some quite obvious plot holes, some things that needed to be addressed that kind of made me go, nah, come on.
Yep.
But ultimately, it was a pretty fun movie. Like I said, it went quite quickly. I felt it could have even went longer, possibly fill in those plot holes. But in the end, I had a good time.
Yep. Amy?
Yeah, I'm probably going to give it an 80. I
80?
think.
80.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed watching this movie. There was a couple of things where I got annoyed with, but not enough to overshadow the fact that I was having such a good time
Yeah.
watching it and
Yeah.
enjoying everything that I was seeing. So, yep, 80 for me.
Cool. For me, now, I don't remember any score I've ever given anything, so I have nothing to judge it against.
How does the
'Cause
numbers man not remember the numbers he
Because I could
gives?
have given a shitty movie a decent score and not come back. I
Pro
gave
rata.
Batman vs Superman 91. Or
So bizarre.
100.
you gave it 88.
Did I give it 88? Oh, and then I gave the Ultimate Edition 91.
Yeah,
or something. Anyway,
I like how you're really consistent. It's a strong.
yeah, it's all over the shop. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say is my ratings mean nothing. But I will say this: I would probably give it anywhere between a 75 to an 80
Yeah.
for
Nice.
sure. For me, it's a lot of fun, and we have had some gripes with it. But that does not take away from the fact that it is a very enjoyable movie.
Exactly.
It's a very enjoyable movie that pays a lot of respect to the original series. One thing we didn't talk about is the fact there's a couple of little things that happen. You get to see the original crew
Yeah.
at one
Yep.
point
Yep.
in
Photo.
a little photo, which is awesome. You do get a little bit of a little tribute to Spock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Leonard Nimoy as well, in a sense. But I think ultimately what this movie does is it really like it gives you characters that you really actually give a shit about. Give a shit about to the point that you will go on a podcast and talk for like half an hour about how some of them didn't get screen time and like all that sort of stuff. So this movie to me was really, really fun and it's really enjoyable and you should get out there and see it for sure.
I have a question for you.
yeah.
Did this movie have enough heart for you?
It did. It did.
Very hearty.
It was hearty, full of. It had, look. In all honesty, it probably didn't, because I think a lot of it was built around the visual and the fun aspects and all that sort of stuff.
So on
of
a
it.
scale of 0 to Notebook, what are we talking?
I see. I would, because me personally, I would have Notebook at 0. The scale would start at Notebook and it would go to.
Marley and Me?
Marley and Me. Oh my God. Yeah, that's a perfect one.
Yeah.
So on a scale of Notebook to Marley and Me, it's a solid Ghost.
Right. Good. That's
Like
a good choice.
Yeah, like a good 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get out to the cinemas, see the movie. Let us know what you thought of it on Twitter.
Yes.
Because none of us are super huge Star Trek nerds.
Why? I'm a fan.
Well, you do have an outfit.
Exactly.
Do
You
you?
have 2 outfits.
Why aren't you wearing it?
Well, yeah, actually, that's a very good point.
Damn.
I have a
Actually,
red shirt.
I'll show you some photos.
Okay.
I have a red
great.
shirt and a blue shirt, but whatever.
Yeah.
We're not talking about me here.
And that's going to bring us to our final segment. Get to know your favorite hero, brought to you by Kisplack Comics and Collectibles. For all your comic and pop culture needs, visit kisplackcomics.com.au or you can check them out on Facebook at Kisplack Comics and Collectibles. We'll leave a note in the show notes, as we always bloody do.
Yes, we will. So this week we decided to check out some of the cooler and maybe slightly more obscure #1 issues that have dropped recently. We always seem to be very Marvel and DC centric, so we'll try to change it up a little bit today, even though one of the 3 is still a DC title. But, nevertheless, let's kick it off with...
Number 3.
Number 3 is Conan the Slayer from Dark Horse Comics, written by Cullen Bunn, with art by Sergio Davila. Conan the Slayer sees the intrepid Cimmerian on the brink of death, with nothing but his sword and a band of Turanian hunters at his back. Instead of meeting his inevitable demise, Conan finds himself in the camp of the ferocious Kazaki raiders. But will their chief prove friend or foe when he and the barbarian finally come face to face?
Number 2.
Number 2 is the Hellblazer Rebirth #1, written by Simon Oliver with art by Moritat. The Hellblazer sees John Constantine back to his old tricks and back in London. With a curse hanging over his head and an ancient demon itching to send him to the underworld, Constantine must use his wit, cunning, and some very questionable ethics if he is ever going to survive his first day back. Look for the cameos from Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, and a pissed-off Shazam, and challenge yourself to not read it in Matt Ryan's voice.
Number 1.
Number 1 is... No, I like it. Number 1 is Predator vs. Judge Dredd vs. Aliens.
Oh, damn.
Damn, son.
That's a throwdown.
I almost don't even have to say a thing about it.
Done.
Done. Look, it's also from Dark Horse Comics, and it is exactly as awesome as it sounds. It's written by John Layman with art by Chris Mooneyham. This epic science fiction crossover pits Mega City 1 lawman Judge Dredd against the universe's most dangerous hunters, the Predators. As the two take aim at each other, they must also prepare for an onslaught from the galaxy's ultimate killing machines, the newly revived aliens. Awesomeness abounds everywhere, and I demand a movie.
Get it to bloody happen.
Can you imagine a movie?
Hashtag.
Hashtag Predator version. No, that's
way too long.
There's your 140 characters.
Yeah, you're done.
Make it a movie, someone.
Hey, guess what?
What?
That's it. Another episode.
Another episode done and dusted.
Bloody done.
Yeah, that's 26.
What are we doing
Nailed
with our
it.
lives?
Sweet karate moves. So next week we'll come back, I guess, episode 27.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. We'll talk about the highly anticipated yet seemingly divisive animated Killing Joke.
Yes, this has got the internet
Ablaze.
ablaze.
You could put a picture of a man in a hat and the internet would...
He's wearing his hat bloody wrong.
That's not the right type of hat for that man with
That's
that
a
particular...
bowler
No,
hat.
anyway.
Oh.
We want to take a little bit of time again to thank our listeners, our subscribers, and reviewers. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Comic Confidential Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at Comic Con Pod, and we have the YouTube, Comic Confidential YouTube, and whatnot.
Check that out. We've also got a website. That's comicconpod.com. Got the Patreon. If you want to support the show, jump on there. We got some sweet-ass perks. You get yourself a Stuff.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Except for pens. There's no pens.
Yeah.
Hey,
paid.
if you donate enough,
We
you
will
can
get
literally have whatever you want.
If someone's looking to sponsor us for pens,
Get in touch.
Get in touch at comicconpod@gmail.com.
Because we'd really like some.
We actually do like pens, and
We,
also
as in
they help
Amy.
you escape from the police, as
Yes.
we found out from Preacher.
That's right. But yeah, if you really do want to help out the show, jump on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/comicconpod. Or you can click on our Loot Crate link in the
Show notes.
show notes because we get a kickback.
Yeah, and we do want to take a second again to congratulate Blake at Blatest24 on winning our first ever competition. You, sir, are king of the competitions of Comic Confidential because there's only been one so far.
You are undisputed.
Winner.
Chicken Dinner.
Yep.
Again, a Batman Hush graphic novel, a Darth Vader Funko Pop. I just like saying Funko Pop.
You do.
And some sweet, rad Comic Confidential merchandise. We will get in touch with you very shortly.
Coming your way.
Coming your way. Also, get on Twitter because that's how we're going to communicate with you.
Yeah.
There is that.
That is that. So anyway, thanks for listening.
That's it. As always, I'm Troy,
I'm Cade.
And I'm Amy.
and this has been Comic Confidential.
Live long and prosper, everybody.
Indeed.
Ooh, classy.
Hashtag magician detective.
It's stop trying to make fetch happen.